Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So today we got a pretty interesting one. We got a pretty interesting one that we want to get into. And I think this is going to be a bit quite informative show. So as you guys know, ESPN has been going through some changes over the last few months. A few months ago, they fired or they let go of a lot of front-facing staff, a lot of people that we know like Jalen Rose, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Keyshawn Johnson, Max Kellerman, and so many others, right? And it really sent a shock through the system, and some of those people have now been picked up by FS1, as you've seen that. But in the midst of all of that, there's been this discussion around ESPN, which is the company is bleeding subscribers. At one point, they had over 100 million ESPN subscribers, and now that number is towards 70, 60 million or something like that. So they're losing about 3 million per annum. And various people have kind of come out and given their synopsis as to why that's taking place. Some people say it's political. Some people say it's other reasons, whatever. We've gone back and forth about this. We produced numerous shows about this. So what happened? About a week or so ago, a story came out, right? A story came out surrounding something that took place at ESPN, a dispute that they had with the company Spectrum, right? Spectrum, which supplies a lot of channels. And apparently the report was this: about 15 million people who use Spectrum, who are subscribed to ESPN, lost service. Now, when we produced that show, some people, the skeptics, of course, said, oh, well, this is no big deal. This happens all the time. Cable disputes, it's something that happens from time to time, but it's no real big deal, right? It's no real big deal. And we did a live about that. Some people try to minimize the impact of what was taking place. And I was like, are these people confused? At the time, I was thinking to myself, are these people confused? I'm lost. You lose about 15%, 20% of your customer base, and you're talking about is no big deal. Where y'all living at? At one point, ESPN had 100 million subscribers. Then they dropped to 70 million. Then you lose an additional 15 million, and it's really no big deal. So now they're about 55 million. 15 million people can't receive service, and it's no big deal because, well, who cares? Just multiply the 15 million times the amount of money they pay every month, and that's nothing. Okay, so what? They're losing $450 million a month. Who really cares? It's no big deal. The idiots in the back trying to minimize everything. Oh, no, who cares? Only 450 million. I mean, what's the big deal? People lose $450 million, $500 million every month, all the time. That's what they try to do. They try to minimize it like it was nothing. So what happened? Yesterday, I came across a show from Jason Whitlock, and let me just state this out from the onset. This is not about Jason Whitlock's political leanings. This is not what this is about. If you feel one way or the other, I don't care. I'm talking about what he's talking about as it pertains to this news. I'm not talking about his political views. That is not what I'm discussing. Please, let's stay on topic. Jason Whitlock, was discussing some of the things that's taking place as it pertains to this news. And he was discussing the severity of what's taking place. And he himself was saying he's surprised that this isn't making more news. And the reason I'm valuing his position on this is because this is someone that used to work on television. So he really knows how things work behind the curtain. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Jason Whitlock had to say here. I think he gave some pretty interesting insight. And then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
There's a dispute, and right now you can't get ESPN, ABC, or any of the Disney channels on Charter Spectrum. This is affecting about 15 million people. A lot of sports fans shocked over the weekend when football kicked off, when the U.S. Open's going, and you can't get ESPN if you're a Charter Spectrum user. And Charter Spectrum is, I believe, the second largest cable provider in the United States. This dispute over carriage fees, over the $10 a month that everybody pays to ESPN, whether they're a sports fan or not. Charter Spectrum is basically saying cable news is over, the bundle is over, the whole model does not work. There have been many stories written about this. This started late last week, again, or it came to a head late last week, and things seem to be escalating and escalating and escalating as this thing's not getting settled. And now we're just a few days away from Thursday. The NFL season kicks off on NBC. It kicks off on ESPN on Monday with Monday Night Football involving the New York Jets. That's a large market, has plenty of Charter Spectrum users. If there is no Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets in that New York market, that's a major problem. But beyond all of that, and this is why I want to talk about it, just the feud and the dispute and the possible demise of just cable TV as a whole is fascinating. For those of us that are sports fans, the potential collapse of ESPN, many people are writing about this. This Charter Spectrum deal could impact deals ESPN has with other cable providers and could lead to the collapse of ESPN. This isn't hyperbole. These are respected people at major news organizations and outlets and newspapers, from the Wall Street Journal to everybody's writing about, like, hey, this could legitimately destroy ESPN. Disney is trying to offshoot or get rid of ESPN or partner with the NBA or the NFL. ESPN is out over its skis. It's no longer a cash cow. If cable providers follow Charter Spectrum's lead here and start playing hardball, and because let's say, we'll just use a round number, 1,000 people have Charter Spectrum. Of that 1,000, maybe 200 of that 1,000 are sports fans that want ESPN. The other 800 people are paying that $10 for ESPN, and they never use it, don't have an interest in it, don't want it. ESPN's been getting away with murder for decades. And that's what made them all powerful. And that's what also has fueled the rest of the American sports leagues. ESPN and the deals they cut with the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball is all powered and fueled by this grift they've been getting away with for decades. This is a major story that I'm not sure, again, ESPN's not going to be the worldwide leader in this coverage. They don't want you to know what's going on. They don't want you to realize how desperate they are.
So you heard what Jason Whitlock had to say there, that he's surprised that more people aren't discussing this. Do people really understand the severity of what's going on here? And what I want to do is I want to give you guys some more information about this. I want to quickly read from Variety.com when the information was initially published. This is on August 31st. Let me just read a little bit what this article has to say. It says, ESPN, ABC, and more Disney-owned channels go dark on Charter Spectrum amid carriage fight. ESPN, ABC, Disney Channel, and other outlets owned by Disney company have gone dark on Charter Spectrum cable system, which serves nearly 15 million subscribers in New York, Los Angeles, and other major markets. Disney channels were pulled off of Charter systems on Thursday afternoon about 5 p.m. after the sides failed to reach an agreement on a new carriage pact. More than 25 networks are affected, including ABC-owned television stations, Freedomform, FX, and National Geographic. The blackout began during the highly anticipated match between Carlos Alcaraz and Lloyd Harris at the U.S. Open, which ESPN had been broadcasting. The timing couldn't have been worse for college football fans coming on the opening weekend of the season. ESPN has a broad slate of college games set for Thursday and Saturday. Spectrum customers were eager to watch Thursday night anticipated meeting of University of Florida's Gators and University of Utah's UT's game on ESPN were sorely disappointed to find a slate card from Charter declaring that is fight to keep costs down and attempting to reach a fair deal with Disney, which is trying to limit our ability to provide greater customer choice in programming, as the company stated. But the ESPN blackout came without the usual buildup of warnings on air and in the media coverage about a possible contract blowup in the offing. That led to some irate reactions posted on social media, and a bunch of other people had to say a bunch of different things about that. So that's essentially what that article had to say there about this news. I'm just going to say this. Whenever you lose customers, it's a problem. Anybody telling you that, oh, you're losing customers now is no real big deal is probably somebody that's not in business. For you to say that a company is losing $400 million a month is no big deal. It shows that you have no idea what the hell is, because it's not your money. That's why, oh, it's no big deal. If you have been following what's been happening with Disney and ESPN, and you juxtapose that, or rather you combine it with this news here, you will know that this is serious. This is a serious matter. The new sports leagues contracts that are coming up, the NBA is going to be requesting $75 billion from what I heard, up from $25 billion. And if you're not able to pay to carry these games, you're going to lose a substantial amount of your customers. And for people to just dismiss this like, oh, it's no big deal, seems like people that are in total denial. This situation is so serious that Stephen A. Smith, and I saw this yesterday, went out on his social media page and actually made a post trying to prompt some of ESPN viewers to opt for other choices. Stephen A. Smith did that. Or you think he did that because it doesn't really matter, or you think he did that all on his own? Get a grip. This is serious news, and I'm going to be very interested to see how this thing plays out over the coming days. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this news? Do you think they're going to resolve the situation? Do you think it's no big deal at all? Or do you think that, listen, this is a pretty big piece of news here, and we need to keep an eye on what's happening at ESPN? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.